Tonight, the search continues to find the person who shot and killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The FBI releasing 2 images of a person of interest. You can see them at the bottom of your screen there. This as the country is grappling with yet another instance of political violence. Sadly, not the first in recent years. The overwhelming majority of people in public life, from elected officials to media figures, have denounced all political violence and expressed their condolences for the senseless killing of Kirk.
Political violence in any form against any American is unacceptable, should be denounced by everyone.
And coming together is what we ought to be doing.
It unifies everybody on both sides of the aisle. We have to call out political violence.
Meanwhile, though, the president and some others are directly blaming their political opponents.
Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people.
They are at war with us. What are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate?
Local Congressman Nick Langworthy echoing that, saying, quote, "The extreme left chose today not to fight a war of ideas, but to indulge their derangement through cold-blooded murder, seeking to silence his voice forever." Dr. Shawn Donahue is a political science professor at the University of Buffalo, and he joins me live here tonight. Professor, thanks for your time. Here's the thing. There are some people online who are glorifying Kirk's death. That is disgusting, full stop. Everyone should agree on that. And to their credit, as I mentioned there has been bipartisan condemnation. But I'm really struck by President Trump and Congressman Langworthy and others, because back when a lunatic assassinated a Democratic state lawmaker in Minnesota, they didn't blame the right then, but here they are blaming the left in really stark terms. The president saying the rhetoric is, quote, directly responsible for what happened yesterday. Your reaction to that?
Well, I think that right now we're really trying to get more information to find out. We don't know who the shooter is. I mean, I think they've put out, the FBI and law enforcement have put out a picture, but we really just don't know that much about it right now, other than we know the victim was Mr. Kirk. So it seems very, very much premature to lay the blame in one particular area.
Yeah, and we're showing video there of many different instances of political violence. Sadly, the assassination attempts on President Trump. And again, there have been Democrats targeted, Republicans targeted. How do we as a country reverse this?
Well, sadly, one of the things is in our country that political violence has been part of our history. You know, you go back to parts of the late 18th century and early 19th century, you had where people were engaged in duels. You know, of course, we had the assassination of President Lincoln right at the end of the Civil War. So this is something that we have had to deal with in the history of our country. You've seen it in other parts of the world recently. You know, you saw the Prime Minister of Slovakia was nearly fatally stabbed recently. You've seen a lot of political violence in Mexico. You saw a member of parliament in the United Kingdom several years ago that was stabbed and killed. But I think that what we're seeing now is that social media and the internet are amplifying this much more.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So tragic. Charlie Kirk, not just a political figure and an activist, but also a father and a husband. And just so tragic. We'll continue to follow the latest developments. Professor Shawn Donahue from the University at Buffalo. Sir, thank you.
You're welcome. I wish it was under more pleasant circumstances.
Yeah, hopefully talk to you soon about something much better.